Well, today I'm going to attempt to do something that I really don't want to do. This is my iPhone 5 and I got it about the day it came out, and the battery is really acting strange. It's not holding a charge very long. It'll say 40% and 45%, and then like 5 minutes later it'll just shut itself off, and then you have to plug it back in to even get the thing to boot up. So it's doing all kind of crazy stuff, and I think it's the battery. Now, I saw online that iFixit has a repair kit for an iPhone 5, and this is a replacement battery. They give you a spudger, they give you the pentalobe screwdriver that you need, and a small Phillips to take this apart, and a little suction cup. Now, I really didn't want to get to this point, but looks like the iPhone 6 or whatever is not going to be out for another 6 months or so, and it's really getting to a point where I need a battery. So I'm going to try to follow the directions. Worst part of this, I think, is going to be twofold. First, getting the screen separated from the iPhone itself. They want you to use this suction cup. Now, I got another tool from them that is supposed to work a lot better than just this suction cup and keep things from breaking, but we'll see how that works. And the other thing is, when we get to prying the battery out, apparently a lot of people have broken the logic board inside of their phone, and I don't need another $300 or $400 bill right now. So we're going to go slow and careful and see what comes of it. And I also have some other tools here. I have some metal spudgers. I have a whole thing of these plastic spudgers as well. You can get in there and take things apart without hopefully scratching or breaking things. But they give you a spudger, and I have some other ones too. So we're going to use what we have, follow the directions, and see what happens. Okay, so if all goes well, we'll need this battery, otherwise it won't even matter. Okay. So first I have my phone backed up, and I have the power turned off to it. And they say the first thing is to remove these tiny little pentalobe screws here and here. Now I'm going to lay this down to do it because I don't need those little screws coming out and falling inside of the lightning connector for the power. Wow, these things are super, super tiny. You see that? It's ridiculous. Ridiculously small. Oh, this is cool too. This is a, I got that from iFixit also. It's a little magnetic project mat with a little pen that you can, sort of like a dry erase pen. So you can write on there what the screws are for, and they stick right there. They're magnetic, so that's cool. Okay, so I have the screws out. Here's our first challenge. It's going to be getting this apart without breaking it. Now, the directions say to use this suction cup and put it right above the button and pull up, and then kind of wedge this down in here. They have this tool, the ice clack, and we're gonna try it. I like the concept of it. I just don't know if it's going to work. So you put it in here, slide this in here, and okay. And I'm gonna err on the side of me doing this without ruining my phone versus getting a perfect camera shot for you guys. So just bear with me here. All right, I just don't know, guys. like it looked, I don't know if it's coming apart correctly or if it's trying to pull the panel off of something it's not supposed to pull off. So, of course, when they showed the video for this online, it just worked perfectly. You know, it just was no problem at all. They just pushed it and it popped right open. Okay, now I think I have it somewhat loose. I hope we didn't damage it or pull it away from there. But now, if I haven't actually damaged anything in the process here, what we want to do is get this tool off of here. And don't go any more than 90 degrees because there's some little screws in here. Okay, there are two 1.2 millimeter screws right here, and we're to remove them. Then there's a 1.6 millimeter screw a little further up. Supposedly this little piece comes off, but okay. Okay, so now there's 3 cables coming to here, and we're supposed to remove the cable assemblies carefully using our little tool. There's one. There's one. The other one was underneath here. 1, 2, 3. Okay. As long as we didn't separate this glass from here and we pulled it off, so far I think we did okay. Okay, now we want to go after the battery. There are 2 screws holding in here. Oh, no, these 2 down here, I believe. Yeah, they're the ones holding this cable down. So what we want to do is take out a 1.8 millimeter Phillips screw, which is this one. Well, you guys just don't understand how small, tiny these little screws are. And here's a 1.6 millimeter screw down here. Sorry if you guys can't see this. Guess I could be zooming in a little bit, but okay, there's a little metal piece. use the plastic opening tool, or one of these two, I guess, to gently pry the battery connector up from its socket on the logic board. Okay, now that's one of these again. Okay, so here's the problem. We got to get the battery out of here, and a lot of people online have gone at this different ways, and it's apparently the adhesive holding this battery into the phone is like super strength industrial, and I guess if you end up prying anywhere over here in the center, you're going to end up breaking your logic board or something. So they say you can pry here, you can pry here, these metal areas, and probably from the top. Now the first thing we're going to try is, somebody said, this little sticker says authorized service provider only, and somebody said if you can get it out with that, then do that. So we're going to see. Yeah, that is really in there. Now, other people had said pry from the left side, because there's nothing in there that you can damage. Your logic board is over here. We don't want to damage that. Supposedly, we can carefully pry from the top. A lot of people said a couple people said they deformed the battery getting it out. Let's work at it a little at a time here. Be super careful. I wonder how the guys, I'd love to know how the guys at Apple do this. I mean, supposedly you can take it in. Problem is, there's not an Apple store close by here. But supposedly you can take this into the Apple store and they'll do this. There's no way they're spending this amount of time. So they must have, well, they have a secret. Their secret is they probably have done a lot of them and they know how it works. And the other thing that might help is they have the luxury, if they break it, they'll just go give you another phone. Well, I'm still working at it here, guys. This adhesive is really just sort of broke free there. Wow, that is okay. Well, so prying under there messed this plastic up a little bit, but as we can see, that was a tab. Let me get it straightened out here. This plastic tab was here that ran the whole length here to supposedly help get this thing out of here. Okay. I hope we didn't break anything. Whoops. So there's the battery. It's kind of malleable. I mean, I probably shouldn't be playing with it too much. It has a little connector on it. 3.8 volt, 5.45 watt hour lithium ion polymer battery. All right, let's open the replacement, and for God's sake, hope it's the right one, because I don't think the old one is going to go back in very easily. 3.8 volt, 5.4, okay. All right, so we want to get this situated in here, just like the other one. And get the little connector lined up carefully. Boy, this stuff is just so small to work with, guys. Okay, when that connector for the battery went in, that was a very satisfying click. So I feel that that is how that was supposed to work. It's a very satisfying click. Okay, now let's get this battery back in position like the old one was. So there's not a lot of room in here. I don't see that placement is an issue. I mean, it doesn't have a lot of give, so I'm just going to seat it back down in that adhesive, and hopefully it'll just stick in there and not cause a problem, you know, by hitting any buttons or anything up along the side, or keep the screen from going back in together. Okay, I have the battery seated. I think it's clearing all the buttons and switches, and I think it's properly in position so that the screen or anything won't hit it when it goes back together. I guess this is my SIM card here, because there's a little hole here. I mean, if this thing is ruined, we might as well look at the inside of it while I got it open. Your battery, your SIM card, here's the camera, power button, volume buttons here. I guess all this stuff up here. Oh, there's an LED. Down here's the headphone jack and the lightning adapter port to charge it. Here's a little antenna wire. I think that's for one of the antennas for either the cellular or the wireless. Okay, enough of that. So let's see if we can figure out how to get this thing back together. This metal piece was right there. The 1.6 millimeter screw is down here, so see if we can get him in there. Get him started. The 1.8 millimeter is up here. Okay, so supposedly the next thing I guess would be getting all these connectors from the screen seated back in position, and then put this this metal plate over them, however that was on there. Okay, that one seemed to go on okay. Then there was this one. Yeah, see, you don't want to, apparently you don't want this thing to go up more than 90 degrees because not only does it put pressure on the cable, but it starts pulling the connectors back off. Okay, that second one, that snapped in real nice. Now this one over here. Okay, got that one. And again, sorry for the video, guys, but I'm trying to see myself and this stuff is so small, but it gives you an idea. Oh, now what I noticed is when I put these connectors back in here, my little camera is not lined up in the hole correctly, my lens. What I found, look at this, this is hinged over here. You've got to somehow capture it on the edge here. Okay. I think that's right, because for the first time now, this is laying flat over here. Okay, you know what it is? This little metal piece is not back in right. It's just not lined up right. I thought I had it, but I didn't. Okay guys, I'm back, and guess what there isn't any more of? There isn't any more 1.2 millimeter screw, I can tell you that. It fell down. When I was working on it, it went under the table somewhere, and there is no way I'm going to find a screw under the table that I can't even see on the table. Now luckily it's like a secondary screw that holds that little metal bracket in there, so I don't think it should be a problem. Now, what they don't tell you is how you're supposed to get this thing back together. First, okay. Now, that's the way it should be. Now, I guess before I put the screws back in down here at the bottom, I should make an attempt to see if this thing's even going to function. That's a good sign. I just hope my screen's not ruined. We were pulling it apart over here. It almost seemed like the top screen was separating from the, whatever it is, the touch panel and the screen itself. There's got to be some kind of layers in there, and it seemed like it was separating when I was using that suction cup. But okay. You know, all I'm concerned about is my screen doesn't have any blems on it, which it doesn't appear to, and that the touch screen works. Does my camera still work? Yeah. I was a little concerned with the camera. It wasn't lining back up. You had to work it. It was a little square camera board in there, and I had to get it, make sure that the hole was lined up there. So volume keys work, mute works, obviously the power works, this works. So I'm going to charge it and give it a shot. Of course, put the screws back in here, but I'm hoping we're okay. But I'll tell you what, just in summary here, I've been screwing around with this for about an hour, and I have some electronics experience, some really good lighting, some good tools here. I mean, and I would not recommend this to the average guy. I lost one tiny screw in the process. I mean, 1.2 millimeters for a screw. You can't even see the thing. You know, you definitely need a spudger or two. Some tweezers would help. This little magnetic thing to find your screws when you drop them. You need this pentalobe, which is a special screwdriver to put these screws back in here. And metal spudger to get the battery out of there with the adhesive. So time will tell, but I'll tell you what, guys, I would not recommend it again. I think they charge 80 or 100 bucks at the Apple store, so if you have one close by, let them take on that responsibility. That way, if they damage it, they can give you a new phone. All right, interesting project. I hope it works out for me. Thanks for watching.